Terry, hello.
Ollie,
All
hello to
right.
you too.
How are you?
Well,
Good?
all things considered,
Yeah.
pretty good.
Good. So you're not burning out?
I'm not burning out. I'm not burning out. I,
Good.
you know what? I think I have at some point in my life, but I didn't know what it was.
Oh, right. Yeah. I have.
Yeah, yeah,
I have. I last year I burnt out.
yeah. Well, since I've known you, I'm knowing you to
Yeah.
that sort of place where you go,
Yeah. We're only human, aren't we?
exactly, yeah. Tip for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're except for me, he says. What are you like? So let's talk about it. Let's talk about
You
because
know what?
this is our
I'm a laugh a month.
you. I was going to say something there, but I'll avoid it. Um,
Okay.
So let's so this month we've been talking about stress management and we've been talking about tools, techniques for self-regulation and aligning ourselves to our values and all sorts of hopefully useful conversations that people can take away. So I just thought it'd be good today to talk about, burnout, what it is, what triggers burnout, ideas around, not overcommitting and what we can take away from this conversation to say, do you know what? I'm noticing some clues here. I'm noticing some triggers. So let's start with so what do you think burnout is, Terry?
Well, I know what it's caused by.
Go on
And it's
then. What's it
caused by
caused by?
overload, I would say. An
Right.
overload
Yeah.
of perceived tasks, perceived. Yeah, let's call it that. Let's leave it at that in a work context.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's 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 a feeling. I think it's a feeling of not enough, not enough. I'm being asked to do things that I either can't do or haven't got
Mm.
the time to do or whatever it might be. That makes sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, relating that back to my experience, I am quite ambitious, so I was loading myself up with projects and clients and it, as you said, it kind of like your brain can't really multitask that easily. So I was jumping between, get this, 14 different projects,
Mm.
right? That's quite tricky cognitively and mentally to deal with.
It's exhausting.
It's exhausting, yeah. So I was feeling, you can call it exhaustion, but it's just that sort of mental drain. It wasn't a physical drain, it was a mental drain that then led to, you know,
Mm.
that feeling that it's physical. But actually, I know it was mental. And I know that actually thinking does burn about 25% of your daily calories anyway, right?
Here's the thing: you spoke about multitasking,
Yeah.
and when I mentioned this on a practitioner course, NLP practitioner course, or any course that I do, it always causes a little bit of oh, hey, no, I'm not having that, right? When I say there's actually no such thing as multitasking,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? We have perceived multitasking. Every time you shift your attention from one task to another, your
Yeah.
brain goes through four separate steps, around about four separate steps. And
Really?
each time, yeah, so let's say I want to, I'm giving you my full attention now, right?
Yes.
And I decide, oh, someone's knocking on the door. So I shift my attention to the person knocking on the door.
Yeah.
It's my attention to you. I pull my attention back off you. I put my attention on this person knocking on the door. I pull my attention back off the person knocking on the door and pull it back to you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's your prefrontal cortex going through around about four separate steps, and
Okay.
it's exhausted. Now imagine doing that with your 14 projects. If you're
Yeah.
going dum, 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 you
Yeah.
know. Now, and the distinction I make, because oh yeah, well I can multitask. There's a big difference between multitasking. For instance, I can talk to you, and I can still touch my microphone. I can still be aware and turn it
Right.
down or up or down, right?
Okay.
Awareness is quite different from attention.
So can I ask you a question on that, just if that's
Sure.
okay, just to interject? So, for example, I've been driving for most of my life, and
Mhm.
driving has to be a number of processes working, or one process working at the same time around lots of different levels of awareness.
Awareness is the key.
Right. So I'm aware of the steering wheel and I'm aware of the mirrors and the traffic around me and the speed at which I'm going and the distance between vehicles. But that's not multitasking then, is that what you're saying?
That's I would put it, if you like, you've done that so often
Yes, that's right.
that your brain go, well, I know this. I've got an idea of this. I know what usually goes on here. What's expected. So
Yeah.
it's in the it's popped over to the co-pilot, the autopilot,
Autopilot.
if
Yeah.
you like, you know.
Yeah.
So now here's the thing again. You know, well, I'm sure you've done it. I know many people have done it. If you've driven from A to B
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
gone, do you know what? Don't even get in
Yeah. Also, I've driven from A to B and I've ended up in the wrong B
it.
because I
Okay.
was so unconscious. No, it's true.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
you're just on autopilot. You go, why have I driven here? Right?
yeah,
It's interesting, isn't it? I suppose it's like musicians, I don't know, let's take Elton John, for example, who can just play the piano masterfully and sing at the same time and just recall all his songs and talk to the audience. It's like, how do these musicians do it? So it's that same awareness process that's so that this is the 10,000 hours plus, it just logs itself into the
yeah.
neural pathways of unconsciousness. So it's on autopilot. So you don't have to think about it. Your mind and body just do it because it's in the right environment,
It's wired in.
wired in. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's interesting you say that. I was watching a short, a YouTube short this morning of a
Oh yeah.
drummer, and it was he said, you know, he said it's probably one of the hardest exercises. It's almost impossible for a drummer to do, but he can do it. Right? But here's the point: he was doing five different things in two different. I mean, I'm no drummer, so I don't know what, but he was
Yeah.
doing five different things. One with his right foot, one with his left foot,
That's yeah.
hitting a snare,
Yeah. The pedals and the snare. Yeah.
and hitting a cowbell and something else with his right hand. So he's doing
Yeah.
five different things, right? Now you can only do that if you've done it so often, so often that you don't even have to think about it anymore.
Yeah.
Is that making sense?
It is totally. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Which is why practice is essential to mastering anything, isn't it? It doesn't make you
yeah.
perfect, but it is progress, isn't it?
Yeah, an interesting point as well. We have to be careful as well because once we get into in a leadership role, for instance, or a
Yes.
management
Yeah. Yeah.
role,
Yeah.
yeah, these rules of thumb, these habits, these heuristics that we've got to be aware of them because if we keep doing one day it mightn't work. The habitual response,
Right.
the am I making sense here? The heuristics you use to I don't know, lead a particular team, whatever it might be,
Yeah.
may not be fitting in that particular context. So you have to
Right.
be, you can send us to a basket in a basket to hell, so to
Yes.
speak.
Yeah. Yeah. So what you're saying is the tools and techniques that we've learned over a period of time that we think work everywhere with everyone in every situation actually don't.
No,
Right.
nothing
Okay.
does. I
Yeah.
say that with every therapy. Well, you know, look, over the years, looking at the therapies I've been teaching and taught and learned over the years,
Yeah.
I always say, you know, NLP, EFT, hypnotherapy, all those things. Not none of it is applicable to everyone every time on every on every problem, right?
Yeah.
That's where the toolbox comes in.
Yeah. Yeah. So for example, when I was leading a big team in a contact center, then 30 years ago, the conversations were very casual, relaxed, and there was virtually no sort of consequence to language like there is now. You've got to be
Mhm.
very aware and conscious of how people feel about words and judgment. So you've got to be a bit tighter around your conversations. You with me?
Ambiguity, yes.
Yeah, yeah,
I, I, I I think personally, one of the biggest causes of burnout and stress, right, is ambiguity,
yeah,
uncertainty.
yeah. Right. Okay.
Very quick example, right?
Yes.
Do you remember? I think I was speaking to you earlier about in the early 90s. I used to build computers for a living, right? Not as hard as it sounds, because if you've ever built a plastic kit model, Airfix
Yes. Oh,
model,
like an Airfix model. Like I used to collect those horror glow in the dark models. Do you remember those?
I did.
The
Yes,
Phantom of the
Aurora,
Opera and the Werewolf and all that. That's
yeah,
brilliant.
Frankenstein, all them, I had all them. You know,
Yeah.
my mum thought there was something wrong with me. Why you buying models of monsters and painting them all dark colours and Well, that's the way it is, you know.
Why were you, Terry?
I don't know. I think I need to speak to someone.
Sorry, we digress.
But
Go
in
on.
but in the meantime,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
uh,
Go on.
I was building these computers, you see, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, you met the guy actually I used to work for at my wedding, right?
Okay.
Peter, right?
Which one? The
Peter,
wedding, not the man. No. Which wedding?
the last one.
Hang on, I'll just run that through my memory banks. Oh, the last one. Right. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So anyway, yeah, he was leaving for the day, right? And he
Mm.
said, "Terry, will you make sure these computers are finished before you go home?"
Yeah.
I said, "Oh yeah, no problem." Yeah, you know.
Hmm.
So finished to me was okay, boxed off, sorted out, built, software on, test them, they work, box them up. That's it. Right, done. I'm finished.
Yeah.
Went home. Right. So he comes the next morning. He goes, I thought he asked you to finish because you're quite blunt, Peter. Great mate, by the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
You
Mm.
know, but he's quite blunt. I thought you asked you to finish the computers all they have finished. Right. So I wanted them on the carrier to go to. It was to go to a tech. They were going to a Clue Tech. It's a place called Clue Tech at the time. I said, well, you didn't say that. You said finished. But so here's the point. Finished to me meant where my responsibilities ended, boxed.
Yeah. Got you.
Finished to him meant also phone the carrier up, put them on the carrier, and send them off.
Yes, I
So
see. Yeah.
here's the point. We didn't clarify what finished means to each other.
Yeah. That's
I
right.
didn't know at the time because God, I'm talking about what, 30, 40, 35 years maybe, something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Hmm.
Right. And he just assumed that I knew what finished meant. Here's the
So it's
point.
so it's ambiguous.
Ambiguity,
Yeah.
clear, unclear. I've seen it many times where we think we know what the other person's saying,
Yeah.
or we get an instruction from a
Yeah.
leader or a manager or whatever it be, and we're not too quite sure what they mean. So we try to fill the gap, you know.
Rather than explore the answer with them.
Yeah, rather than ask. Yeah,
Yeah.
and also I think also um, people in leadership roles have got a responsibility here to allow people to ask questions.
And also, yeah, and also on that, give people the space to actually do something well or to their best of their ability. What I find is a lot of leaders just pile on loads of projects onto people and expect them to just deal with it
Yeah,
because we're busy.
can lead to, I've known to lead to perfectionism, over functioning, as we spoke about earlier.
Yeah.
I've got to do more, got to do more, got to do more. You
Mm.
know, do you know what I think? I don't think many people do it as a sit down exercise. What can help with this is having a clear understanding of your own values, what's really important to you.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
When you've got a clear understanding of what's really important to you, it's. I'm not saying it's a perfect situation, but it's a lot easier to put boundaries in. So no,
Yes.
I'm going to finish at 5 o'clock because I've
Yeah.
got I want to put my kids to bed or whatever it be. Right?
Yeah.
Am I making myself clear here?
No, I think there are two things here that I spend a lot of time talking to people about. Number one is creating boundaries. I think they're essential. And I
Yeah.
think and boundaries are where two or more people, let's say you're in a team of 20 people, every person within that team agrees what that boundary looks like. Even if they disagree to some of it or all of it, you have to have a set of boundaries that the team understands. So working remotely is a great example. I do a lot of work with people who work remotely. And what leaders tend to do is forget the importance of connecting with people who are working remotely, i.e., not in the
Mm.
office. Okay. Now, boundaries aren't pushing away, they're also pushing in and leaning in, right? So I talk to them about protocols for well-being when working remotely. How many times have you checked in with every single member of your team? Not for a reason other than how are you getting on? How are you doing? Let's talk. Let's share a Zoom coffee or something like this, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I've been too busy to do it. How can you be too busy to lead your team? Because that is part of leadership. What they're saying is, I'm too busy sending emails and doing spreadsheets and all this sort of stuff. So boundaries are creating some protocols within the team that aren't just functional, but they're also emotional as well,
Mm.
right? And psychological safety is part of this, which is in a team, guess what? You're allowed to disagree. Allow people to disagree, allow people to fall over a bit, allow people to try things and take a risk and watch them not succeed, and it's okay. And then the key to psychological safety is not pointing fingers or going, ha ha ha, right? Or going, well, that was stupid. It's kind of like, what did you learn from it? How'd you feel about it?
What do we do differently next time?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Uh,
So I think these are
It,
two really important elements that need to be injected into the philosophy, the culture of modern organizations.
it's interesting you say that. Do you remember? I mean, I don't do it so much now, but a few years ago, I used to teach NLP for project managers in a university, right? And one of the reasons they brought me in was, and these, I'm paraphrasing, but it was more or less spot on. He said, these project managers are great at managing a project, but the softer skills, i.e., emotional intelligence,
Yeah, yeah,
looking after
yeah.
your team, actually,
Mentoring, coaching.
yeah. Not a clue,
No, that's right.
or very little clue, should we say.
Yeah.
So the NLP side of things was to introduce that.
But this. One of the reasons why people don't have a clue is their lack of desire, because quite often transactional activities, management tools are measurable and they're easy to go, well, I've done those three things, press the button, sent, done, tick. Whereas mentoring someone who's struggling can be quite intimidating, especially if you're not particularly people orientated in terms of the outcomes you like to create at work. For example,
Mhm.
if you're an accountant and you've been academically studying accountancy for 10 years and you've become all your acknowledgement and all your status has been built on qualifications in being a great accountant. When AI comes in and people say, well, actually, AI can do all of that, you need to now start speaking to your clients and building relationships. People go, what? What? That's not my job. I wasn't. Yeah. And like you said at the very beginning, people haven't moved on. You've got to start evolving with what's happening in the future. So you will burn out if you don't accept reality as it's happening in front of you. And people don't. They go, yeah, but that's not my job. That's not what I've been qualified in. And they literally just freeze or run away from it. And
Mhm.
if you want to really succeed in life, you've got to embrace stuff that you're not sure of, or you don't like doing, or is uncomfortable. And I find that sometimes you can alleviate a little bit of burnout because quite often you're so worried and perceiving things that might not happen, but worst case scenario, right? I've got to make that phone call. I've got to make 10. They're going to say no. It's going to be all burnout, 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 burnout.
Exasperation.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It, yeah, it's there's I don't think there's any, as I think we've more or less said, but to clarify, I don't think there's any one particular reason for burnout,
Mm,
and I don't think there's one particular answer to burnout. I think there are many areas we have to look at and go, okay, I need to change this, I need to change this, I need to change this, I need to alter this, whatever it might be, right?
yeah,
Um, but I think one of the major things is dealing with ambiguity, dealing with uncertainty.
great. Yeah, I like that. I think we always like to finish our podcast with three tips, don't we?
Uh-huh.
And I think the first one is dealing with ambiguity. I think that's a cracking one, that, right? So when we talk about ambiguity, so dealing with it is make sure you're clear, make sure
Uh-huh.
the people or person you're dealing with is clear on the same thing, and you agree what the outcome looks like almost, isn't it?
Yes, you've just reminded me of a really great model. Have you heard of a book called Getting to Yes by William Yori?
Never heard of it.
Okay, it's one of the most cited books in academia regarding negotiation,
Right.
right? It's quite an old book, but here's the thing, and it's very NLP as well in a sense because one of the four elements of it is you have to agree on a criteria. Does that to be an agreed criteria, and it must be measurable. So just as you said there, right? Let's
Yeah.
say it's me. Let's say it's you and I, and we're talking to, and we decide on what we want to do. We need to know exactly what's expected,
Yes.
and not
Yeah.
and not worried about asking what might be seemingly silly questions. So
Totally.
when you say finished, what do you actually mean by finished? At what
Yeah.
point do you mean finished? Well,
Yeah.
put it on the carrier. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, fine.
Yeah. So it's almost like in your mind, for me to be successful with this, talk me through what you're experiencing in your mind so I understand who I have to be, what I have to do, and what the conclusion looks like.
What are the steps? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
brilliant. The steps. Yeah, excellent. Okay, so to deal with ambiguity is number one. The second tip I'll say this actually from experience of burnout is I am fearlessly ambitious and I want to be successful, but not necessarily financially successful or showing off on stage, doing all this. Although they are measurements, I suppose, and evidence to say that you're successful. But I do like my job that I've created. I love what I do. I love my
Mhm.
clients and I love the energy I get from doing what I do. Right. I've just got to be very careful that it doesn't seep into 24 hours a day, and it can do. And with modern technology, like I'm getting WhatsApps now on a project that I'm running, and it's distracting and it's causing me a little bit of anxiety already. And then I've got emails coming in, it's causing me a little bit. I've got Slack messages coming in on another project, and you think, and what you have to do, and what I've learned, and how I'm managing my burnout is I just literally turn things off for a period of time, and I only
Yeah.
literally have this that I'm focused on. And then after this, I'll take a break. And it's not a bad thing to take a break. You don't have to reply to everything immediately. And then in half an hour, I'll be doing a coaching session. And that's what I'm going to be doing. When that coaching session is finished, I'll respond to the Slack messages, the WhatsApp, and the emails. Right. So it's almost,
It's prioritizing, isn't it? What
yeah,
must be
it's
done?
that chunking,
What needs to be done?
prioritizing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm not saying I didn't do that, but I did feel that I was overly responsible for every single interaction. And you're not.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
must going back about 8, 9 years now,
Mm.
I suppose, when I first started dealing with people on an international basis, like in
Yeah.
America or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
I would open up my diary, my electronic diary, starting at 5 o'clock in the morning
Yeah.
for
That's right.
the
I
for
remember. Yeah.
people in America, right?
Yeah.
And finish at 11 o'clock at night.
Oh,
I thought,
mate.
I thought, oh, this is okay. I love what I do anyway, so
Yeah. Yeah.
enough sleep would be fine, right? After about 2 weeks, I was burnt.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
was burnt.
Yeah.
Didn't realize it. I just thought, why am I always tired?
Yeah. That's exactly what
You
happened to
know,
me. Yeah. Because you enjoy it, don't
you know,
you? But your body and mind are going,
yeah, absolutely,
no.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So here's the thing again about boundaries. Now I don't do 5 o'clocks now.
Yeah.
I don't do,
Yeah.
the earliest one I'll do is 7 o'clock in the morning, which is fine,
Yeah.
right? And one day in the week I will do late
Yeah.
for the people who really can't get in the daytime. But you find that most people can,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
point is, it's my choice. It fits in with my life,
That's it. Yeah.
and I work around that.
Yeah.
You reminded me there. You remember the story of the professor who had a jar in the rocks?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Time.
yeah. There's one way of thinking about it is think of the three big rocks for that day.
Yeah.
What are the three big rocks for that day?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, there's also a lot of other things as well. I mean, we know the um, optimal learning states.
Yeah.
There's a cycle for it. So,
Yeah.
and for instance, in an hour, if you do 45 minutes and then have a 15-minute break and do nothing at all to do with that work for 15 minutes and then go back to it, you're more productive.
Productive. Mhm.
Yes, yeah. I'm still learning to say that word actually, productive. You know, yeah, yeah. But it's actually more productive. It's more efficient.
Mm.
And I do have an example of that. But if we haven't got time, we're running short of time. There's
Yeah. Okay.
a lovely little story about that.
Okay.
I
Well,
mean,
we'll mention that in the next podcast, can't we?
you'll mention that in the next podcast.
Yeah. So
So
there's so
for
this
those of
is
you who listen to this podcast, stay on the edge of your seat until the next podcast. And I'll tell you the story.
Woo.
Woo.
So, number one tip, deal with ambiguity. Number two, set boundaries or create frameworks so you don't get overwhelmed at doing things at the same time because multitasking does not work, right? And
Yeah.
so, and then the third tip, what do you think the third tip should be, Terry, to avoid burnout?
Manage your time.
Yeah, so exactly, right?
You
So
know,
that,
don't be afraid to go no. Don't
yes,
be afraid to say no. You
yeah,
know, I can't do it right now.
yeah, yeah. In fact, I've got a workshop on how to say no, right? Because so many people
I'm not going to
don't
that.
un don't understand. Hey, don't understand what it
Hey,
means. But it's in essence, you can turn around to somebody and go, do you know what? I appreciate you coming to me. Thank you so much. I would love to help you with that. I will do that on Thursday because today it's Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. I've got these other projects that I'm managing. So if Thursday's okay, I'll start working on it now. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Rather than I need it now, I need it now, I need it now. What the outcome or just a starting point? And this is where leadership comes in. It's about also as a leader, you need to be able to be communicative and tolerant that people can't just do everything you want immediately because your boss is asking for it. It's just not on, right?
yeah.
So it's the ability to say
Again,
no.
it's that, yeah, it's that need for clarity, isn't it?
Yeah,
You know, I need this as soon as possible.
yeah,
Okay. So the
yeah,
other, I'm quoting an exact example, a particular example here. So this
yeah,
person went, okay, yeah. So she stayed behind over the weekend.
yeah. That's right.
Didn't see her children. She wants
Yeah,
to see her children,
yeah,
right? When she completed it and gave it to her line manager on the Monday. Well, you could have done that, you know, by Wednesday.
yeah.
Does- So there was no
I hear
clarity
that.
there.
No,
Yeah,
I hear that a lot as well. Yeah, and they're stressed over the weekend and getting upset, and they go
yeah,
back to the office and they go, "I didn't need that till. In fact, it's changed now. I don't need it actually." What?
yeah.
You know.
Hey,
No.
what? Yeah.
Terry, as always, my friend, thank you so much. Appreciate your
Pleasure.
time and energy and insight. And that was a good November talking about stress management tools and techniques, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Remember, clarity protects energy.
Wow, the Scouse
Mm.
Yoda speaks. Brilliant. Cheers. Thank you, mate.
Yeah.